There you go.
Oh my god, that's so cool! I'm not gonna lie, I'm okay. I was expecting that today. Thank you.
Great.
Hello everyone, my name is Faz, and we're here at Megacon Manchester 2023. Here with, just to make sure I'm getting the name right, Ted Lewis.
All right.
He voices many characters from the animated series, but just to make it a little bit easier for myself, would you mind just going through a quick rundown of some of the cast members you've played as?
Sure. Let's see. If Pokemon, I've been Giovanni, Snorlax, Gengar, Tracy Sketchit. In Yu-Gi-Oh! In the Yu-Gi-verse, I was Bandit Keith and Bakura, of course Yami Bakura as well. And in 5Ds, I was Jack Atlas. Kirby Right Back At Ya, I was King Dedede and Escargoon, and all sorts of other characters.
So, what got you into voice acting, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it was completely by chance. I was living in New York City. I had gone to school for acting, and I was working my day job, and I met this person and just started talking. And he started to ask me all these questions about myself. And what I didn't realize was that he was actually trying to get the quality of my voice, because he was about to cast a voiceover project. And so that ended up being a straight-to-video film called Record of Lodos War. And that was the first thing I ever auditioned for, and I got it, which is very rare. But that was what got me into it. It was completely by chance.
Yeah. So moving on towards, fast forwarding a little bit towards Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! So you played a few different characters, playing as Gengar, and you mentioned Tracy, which I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't peg you for. I didn't know you voiced Tracy.
Yeah.
One of the big voices of my childhood. So
that's great.
Tracy has like a divisive fan base, to say the least.
Sure, yes.
So how do you sort of take that?
Well, some characters catch on, some don't. I mean, it was just, it's nice that some people really like him. I'm fine, either way. Because it's not the end of the world if someone doesn't love your character or what have you. And it was a thing for a season on a show that went on forever, and so I'm glad there are fans.
For me personally, I loved Tracy. I don't understand the disappeal, if that makes sense. The unappeal of Tracy. He was an artist. It was actually kind of different. And in retrospect, as an artist now, he's probably, I think, a more iconic character than he is. I think he aged quite well.
Oh, good. Who knows? He might just have a revival at some,
So you played as Giovanni as well.
That's right.
And obviously that role was much shorter, I understand. But what was it like playing more of a villain-esque type character in a Pokemon series as opposed to Tracy?
Well, it was great. I mean, I got the opportunity to play Giovanni, and I just remember him being this really shadowy character that was always kind of, my initial memory of it was that he was kind of this, always seen as a shadowy character, kind of petting Persian, and and then of course you ended up seeing his face, but it was just fun. It's always fun to do. I like doing villain characters. They're just more interesting, and especially, they can be kind of witty and nasty and biting, and it's fun to do those characters. I love that.
Of all the villain type characters, so I see Bakura as well. What was your sort of favorite line, if you don't mind me asking? Like of all the villain ones specifically.
Oh, I would say, I would say that it's a Bakura line, and he says something like, and I might be paraphrasing, he says something like, "Don't you realize I am the darkness?"
Oh, that is actually
it's a great villain line
in the Yu-Gi-Oh series like that. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go to the final few questions, because I know this is meant to be a very short interview. But if you were to, who would you rather play? Who would you rather play, Bakura or Giovanni?
Wow. I think Bakura, because Bakura's character has a lot more to do and has more dynamics and that kind of thing. Because Giovanni's a lot of fun, but he's basically on the same wavelength for most of the show. And I think Bakura is a character that, you see his good side and his bad side. So there's all of that, so he's more fun to play. It's more dynamic and interesting.
Was Bakura your favorite character to play out of all the cast?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's fair to say. I don't need to ask that.
Sure.
So my other thing was about Giovanni and the first movie, you played Giovanni in there as well.
That's right.
Which, even though he was in a very, very, very short scene, it's more about Mewtwo.
Yeah.
It was just, that was probably the first time you've seen how sort of important Giovanni was to the mythos of Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I know it's going to sound weird to say what was that like, but it's more like all of a sudden this character's become more popular, and he's barely had a line in the show, or barely had a line in the series, or and he's made multiple reappearances in the games. I guess the question I'm trying to ask is, did that resurgence ever, like, was it always ever appreciated?
I don't know, because the interesting thing about doing a lot of doing a show like Pokemon that has all of the really Yu-Gi-Oh as well, that has all of these different uh, uh, spin-offs and the movies and different season of this, that is that I kind of look at whatever character I'm doing, it's all kind of one show.
Yeah.
So it's nice when I get an opportunity to go in and I have a lot of lines in something that's more than I usually do, but for me it's kind of one show, so it doesn't really occur to me that the character became like, I just figured, oh great, he's a bigger character in this film and whatever. So it's hard to tell the difference sometimes between each. For me it's just the character again.
Okay. So I think last 2 or 3 questions. I think 2 is probably what I'm aiming for.
Great.
So first things first. Are you aware of Pokemon Sleep?
Pokemon Sleep?
Yeah.
No. What is that?
So it's an app that came out like literally about a week or so ago, at the time of recording.
Yeah.
And you play as a Snorlax.
You're kidding.
You're basically feeding a Snorlax, and the idea is that you gain points by sleeping.
Oh, there you go.
I guess the question is more like, are you aware of it, and have you played it, and have you decided to do any Snorlax voices
I have not, but if you can actually get stuff by sleeping, I'm all for that. And should I do a Snorlax voice for you?
I mean, it's your choice.
Listen, okay.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I don't know if it'll come, if you'll hear it too well on this, but I'll do. There you go.
Oh my god, that's so cool! I'm not gonna lie, I'm okay. I was expecting that today. Thank you.
Great.
And finally, obviously, people who watch your show, I watched. Well, I say your show. But you were part of so many shows on the upbringing. Actually, I just remembered one more question.
Okay, sure.
Okay, one last question, then the final question.
Okay.
Have you? Which would you rather play, Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon the card game?
Well, they both seem fairly difficult to me, and Yu-Gi-Oh in particular. Yeah. Like, it always amazes me when I see tournaments, and like sometimes you'll see like junior tournaments and these kids are playing the game, and it just seems so complicated to me. And the fans are really great at figuring all that stuff out. If you ask most of the actors, we're like, wow, it's like it's so over our heads. So if I had to choose, probably maybe Pokemon. Yu-Gi-Oh seems fairly complicated. It seems to be.
Understandable. I can understand. You heard it here first. Maybe second, I don't know. It might be nice before.
Yeah.
And finally, as I was saying earlier, a lot of people have been inspired by your performances in every anime and TV show and video game that you've been a part of. So what is the most... I ask this to every voice actor. So what is the most important thing for a person wanting to get into voice acting, you reckon?
Well, I would definitely say do some theater. I think most voice actors that you speak to got their start in theater. So I think it's very important to, even if you don't intend to get into the theater, to take some acting classes, because it's one thing to say I can do a funny voice. I think most people can, but to be able to actually act the voice and communicate through the microphone to the audience that's watching, it takes a little extra something. So I'd say the first thing to do is take some acting classes, and there are a lot of workshops as well doing voiceovers as well. And there are some voiceovers that offer demos after the class is done and whatever. So take some classes, I would say. Yeah.
Well, where can everyone find you?
I am at, I am Teddy Lewis on Instagram, as well as The Real Ted Lewis. It's another page. And so we'll just go with that. I'm no longer on Twitter. I got off of Twitter after Elon Musk pulled that stuff. So
yes,
yeah,
no, that's understandable. We're okay with that. You can be as open about it as you would like.
yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. My name is Faz. I hope you guys enjoy yourself. I hope you can, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and we do live stream a lot on Twitch. It would be super helpful if you do share the video. And as always, and remember, I hope you guys have a very wonderful and happy Faz day. See you next video, everyone.